Vote counting has begun in Rwandan parliamentary and presidential elections. Veteran leader Paul Kagame looks likely to secure a fourth term. Critics accuse him of cracking down on the opposition. His most vocal critics were a ban from running against him. DW correspondent Maril Muller reports.
Kigali is what many people think of when they think of Rwanda. A modern, clean, developed and safe capital. The government has worked hard to sell this image.
We've been mostly successful in the most important things that we wanted to get done, which means security and safety for Rwandans, bringing back home refugees, uniting Rwandans, justice and progress in delivering to Rwandans. Rwanda today is better off than it's ever been.
Rwanda has grown economically, reduced maternal mortality and improved healthcare. It has also become a major conference and tourist destination. But that's not enough, especially when 60% of Rwandans still live below the poverty line, says opposition leader Victoire Ingabire.
There are some achievements. I agree that the Kigali will have a beautiful building, clean streets, but development is not that. Development is educated your people, and that we have a problem of malnutrition among the kids under 5 years. That is all kind of the poverty we have in our country. Outside the Kigali, we don't have roads. We need roads, we need electricity, we need water, we need hospitals. There's many things that we have to achieve.
Victoire Ingabire has been a fierce critic of President Paul Kagame for decades and was punished for speaking up. She was imprisoned for 8 years for challenging the government narrative of the 1994 genocide that targeted the Tutsi minority and killed about 800,000 people.
If you criticize the institution in Rwanda, of the government, of course you are labeled to be the enemy of the country. Like me, I spent 8 years in prison only because I has criticized the policy of the government. So this is why I ask, they have to understand that we need also democracy in our country to have a sustainable development. We need to have leaders who are accountable before the citizen.
Kagame has been praised for bringing stability to Rwanda in the 30 years since the genocide. But rights groups have criticized the country's human rights record. Enforced disappearances, arbitrary detention, extrajudicial killings and torture are routine. The government denies there's a problem.
We do not assassinate people. We're a country of rule of law. We're a country that values life. That is the biggest lesson that we learned from the genocide. Our job is to take care of Rwandans. People are free to say whatever they want.
The country ranks 144th out of 180 in the World Press Freedom Index. 14 members of Victoire Ingabire's opposition party and 3 journalists are behind bars. Several more are awaiting trial.
Do you think it will be a free and fair election?
Yes, it will. It's always been.
It's widely expected that Paul Kagame will win this election with more than 90% of the vote, as he has done in previous polls.
Let's get more from our correspondent Felix Moringa. Welcome, Felix. 90% of the vote. Is President Kagame that popular, or has he effectively got rid of the opposition?
President Kagame is popular at home because he's widely credited with bringing peace post-genocide, and he's also credited with bringing development in parts of Rwanda and building of infrastructure such as hospitals and roads. However, he's also hated in equal measure for stifling any voice of dissent, either by the political class, either by the media, or by activists. For instance, in this particular election, 8 candidates had actually expressed the will to participate in the election. 6 of them were knocked out by the National Electoral Commission, and most of them were being knocked out on very flimsy grounds. And organizations like Amnesty International, has condemned that particular act of blocking the would-be opponents for President Kagame. So is he that popular? Is he not challengeable? he's actually using all the space that he has to ensure that he doesn't have opposition.
The latest Freedom in the World report by the Freedom House rates Rwanda as not free. How is this lack of freedom evident in daily life?
There's lack of judicial independence. In the case of the people who wanted to be voted in, they were blocked by the court. There's a lack of media freedom. A lot of media houses in Rwanda sing to the tune of the government. There is 2 journalists that were arrested and detained last year, according to Reporters Without Borders. William, a web-based journalist, was also arrested and he was killed in an accident last year. There is also Yvonne, a YouTuber who in 2021 was also put to jail for 15 years for challenging the government's narrative on the genocide. So a lot of these particular characters have been put aside or killed just because they do not follow the narrative of the government.
Okay, thanks for that, Felix. Felix Moringa in Nairobi.